Well, hello there everybody and welcome back to the Pong tutorial. Last time you know what, I'm just going to show you guys what we did because we should be really proud of this. We now have a semi-functioning Pong game. Come on, you bastard. Yes, we could just sit here for days and just bounce this ball off this paddle. I'm exhilarated. But hey, this is a really good step. But we're going to take that even further now, and we're going to add a computer opponent. How exciting. You can actually have tournaments now. Invite all your friends and family over, have tournaments and beer and chips and $10,000 prize pool. Or not. Maybe that's just my family. Anyway, let's see. So the computer is going to essentially be almost identical to the player in terms of how it works and its update and paint and stuff. But there's only going to be one difference, and that is it doesn't move off of input like we do with the player. Because if you remember how the player works, is in game panel we have our methods that check for key presses, and then based on that we tell the player to move up or down, pretty much, and that's how the player knows when to move. But that's going to be kind of different with the computer because we're not controlling the computer. The computer is going to be moving itself based on where the ball is, so it can follow it around and be in the right spot in order to bounce it back. But besides that, pretty much the variables are all going to be the same, and the paint is pretty much going to be the same as well. So I'm going to take the lazy way out, and I'm going to copy this entire thing, and then we'll make our changes from there. Okay, so we got all that in there. Let's change something. Let's see. Uh, See, I hate it when it does this. Is when you copy and paste code, it indents it to the right, and I don't know why it does that. It's really irritating. And I don't know if we should make the computer a different color than the player. I suppose we could. Doesn't really much matter though in the end. Okay, so that's fine. So pretty much all these are going to be the same. Um, we don't need X or set Y velocity though. We don't need that. Okay, so, and I need to change this constructor to computer. Okay. I think I probably need to import some stuff too. I apologize, this is probably extremely boring. But you'll have those moments. Got graphics. And I believe color was the other one? Yeah, color. Java.awt.shoot me in the head. Perfect. Okay. So let's go through here and see what we need to keep, what we need to throw away, whatever. Let's see. So Y is fine. Basically, the starting Y, pretty much. We want to start halfway up the screen. That's fine. Computer's going to need a Y velocity to move. Width and height is the same as the player. Nothing for the constructor. Update, we're going to be messing around in update quite a bit. Paint, that's fine. We'll change this though. What did I, the width is 400. We have it 35 on the left side. So we're going to want dot. I'm just changing where the computer is on the horizontal on the screen, because the player is normally 35 pixels from the left, and it's always 35 pixels from the left, but we want the computer to be on the other side, so we need to change that a little bit. So we want it to be the same as that, so minus, bear with me guys, we're doing math, and I know that is not the most pleasant experience. 35 minus player, no, just width is fine. Oh, good God. Let's turn off caps lock. That might be a good idea. Okay, so this is confusing. We're just, instead of having it be 35 from the left, it's a little weird because we want it to be the same distance, but we can't say 35 from the left because the x value is from the top left to the top left. So if we say minus 35, it's not going to look quite the same because the top left is going to be 35, and which means it's going to draw to the right the whole width of the player. So it's going to end up looking like it's like right next to the edge of the screen. So we need to do minus 35 and then minus the width to set it in the same spot, so that when it draws outward, the rest of the paddle, it ends up being in the right spot. It's not really necessary. It just kind of, makes it look better. Okay, so we need to figure out how the computer knows where to move based on where the ball is. So the ball's going on its merry way, bouncing up and down all around, bouncing off the player. So the computer needs to know all this information. The computer needs to be able to keep track of the ball so it can follow it, so it knows where it is. Whereas, we're human, so we can just look at the screen and see, okay, we need to move up because the ball's towards the top or wherever. We can just look and see, and based on our reflexes, we move. But the computer is a little different. They need the actual hard data so they can follow the numbers. So what we're going to do here is we are going to have, or give the computer access to the ball. And we're going to do that. Let's see, how do we want to do this? Okay, we need to give the computer another variable here. Private game panel. Call this field. Okay, so we're giving the computer a field variable, which is the game panel. And what we're going to do is, in the constructor here, we need to pass a game panel to our computer. So the computer has access to, the field we're playing on. Yeah, we'll say game, why not? And that way the computer can keep track of the ball. I suppose if we really wanted to, we could keep track of the player, so the computer could cheat or whatever and blow the player up, but that's not really necessary. And all I'm going to do here is just set our local variable to the passing variable. Okay, so when we make our computer object, we're going to have to pass our game panel in. And then now that the computer has the game panel, it can check and see. It has the whole state of the field to analyze now. It has it right in front of it. It can look at it. It can do whatever it wants. So, and that includes finding out about the ball. So what we can do here is we're update. Okay. First thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually make our computer and pass that along. I gotta also add a couple methods in here. So I'm just going to pause this, and I'll come back and I'll explain what I did. Okay, so I just did a couple things. Don't freak out. I didn't do anything too big. All I did was I made our computer object here. Computer equals new computer. And then I gave it this as its argument. And if we go back to computer here, we have our constructor require a game panel object for when we make it. That way, it can have a copy, or not really a copy, I guess, but it can have a reference to what's going on the field, so it can, check the play-by-play or whatever. So it knows and has access to what's going on in the game panel. So it requires a game panel, so all we're doing is we're passing it this game panel. That's what this means. This means this class. Remember, we had to use that here for Tim. Our buddy Tim, he's so patient with us. We had to use this here to specify this class as the action listener, and we're doing the same thing here with the computer. We're saying this class is going to be the game panel you're going to be using. Let's see, what else did I do here? I added computer.update in the update. Don't forget to do that. That's kind of important. And I added computer.paint in paint component. Also important. And the only thing else I did here, I think, is just I made a public ball get ball method, and all it does is return the ball, because that's really the only thing the computer is interested in. So once it has access to the field, but we're going to have some way to get the ball information too. And then in ball, I just did what we did in player and added get X and get Y. So the player can check the field, ask the field for the ball, and then ask the ball what its position is. And you'll be able to see that in a second. So let's see here. Update. Y equals Y velocity. That's fine. We want to keep that. And this is actually going to be pretty simple here. So all we want to do is say if if field, the game panel, that's our variable for the game panel, field dot get ball. So now we're asking the game panel for the ball object it knows about, and then that will return the ball object. Then we can ask the ball object where its X position is. Okay. So we're saying, I'm an idiot. I didn't add a condition for that. Is less than this dot X. Okay. So basically we're saying we're asking the field, our game panel, we're saying, okay, game panel, can I please see what the ball is doing? Game panel will pass the ball along. Okay, here you go. Take a look at what you need. And then, now that we have the ball, we can say, okay, I have the ball object now. Ball, where is your X value? Ball returns the X value. It might be smack dab in the middle of the screen. And that way, so the computer will know where the ball's X value is. And I don't know why I said X. That's not right. Ignore what I'm saying. We actually want the Y value because that's what's important. Okay, so we're asking the game panel. We're saying, game panel, let me see your ball for a second. Game panel unzips its pants, holds out its package, and the deal's done. I think I may have gotten that wrong. It just actually returns the ball object, so you don't have to worry about that. You're not going to get flashed by the game panel. So once we have the computer asks for the ball object, we get the ball object, and then we can do whatever we want. In this case, we just want to ask where it is in the Y direction. We just say, okay, ball, where's your Y value? And then we're checking to see if it's less than this Y, the computer's Y value. So we're just saying, we're checking to see where the ball is. If the ball is above us, then we're going to get inside this if statement. So just a quick comment, ball is above us. So that's what happens that's what this if statement is checking for. If the ball is above the computer. and then we want to do something based on that. So if the ball's above the computer, what do we want to do? Well, the most logical thing would be we want to have the computer start moving up to try to catch it. So that's pretty easy. We can just do y velocity equals -1. And I'll explain why we're going so slow. Else if, and we're going to add a second part in here. So again, we're going to ask the game panel for the ball. We're saying, hey game panel, let me see the ball object for a second. I gotta check something. Same thing here. Get y. And for this one, we're going to see if it's greater than our y value. If it's below us. Okay. And we want to do pretty much the exact opposite. If it's above us, we want to start heading up to chase it. If it is not, if it is below us, we want to start heading down to try to chase it down. And then we're just pretty much saying where the ball is. Based on the ball, we want to change our velocity to either up or down. And then either way, after that, we have it just move wherever we told it to move. So if the ball is, almost all the way at the top of the screen, the computer's going to start crawling up to try and catch it. And that way, it can start trying to chase it. And we're getting the information from the game panel. So if the ball is way up at the top, the computer's going to start, moving up with its y velocity to -1, which makes it move to a slow crawl. But it's heading up, it's trying to chase the ball. But then the ball's bouncing around, and all of a sudden it's below the computer. So now the computer's going to start moving down to try to catch up to it. And I think that's all we need. We'll have to add some collision code in ball again. And I might just do that now. So let's see, check collision with, I'm going to copy this because I'm lazy. God damn it, I hate it when it does this. Text pad is really good though, other than this. Okay, so we're going to have another thing like this, and we're going to, instead of taking a player, we are going to take a computer. And I'm just going to call that CPU. And this is the exact same thing as the collision with the player, just checking to see if the ball is inside the computer. Let's see. We need to change this to CPU. 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 This is also incredibly boring. I can guarantee you, though, in our next game that we do after Pong, which we're almost done with, by the way, probably only 1 or 2 more videos left. Once we're done with that, and we go to the next game, we're going to do a little bit more inheritance, so we don't have to do this for each and every game entity in the game. But that's not neither here nor there, so I'm just going to compile this. Okay. And I don't think I compiled computer yet. See if that works. Okay. And we'll start Pong. Look at that, the computer is moving at light speed. Oh, and of course, I made the method, but I didn't call it an update. But see, the computer's trying to catch the ball as best he can. And the reason I made him move so slow, at 1 or -1, is that's just game design. I want, I don't want it to be impossible for the player to win. I want the computer to be able to miss it. So if we have it go the same speed as the ball, it's always going to be able to hit the ball. I mean, I might speed it up because this is a little too easy, but yeah, I think I might do that real quick. And then I have to, well, let's do one thing at a time. Uh, let's make him move 2. Yeah, 2 sounds about good. Okay, I'm going to compile that. And then the last thing we need to do is head over to game panel. And we have here our where we tell the ball to check its collision with the player. And we're also, oh, that was dumb. And we're also going to do the same thing, have it check where it is. That is not how you spell computer. Okay. So now if we run this, this should play like a game now, except with no scoring. Okay. That's a little faster. I might speed it up even more. Okay, I don't know why that didn't work. Well, that's kind of weird. Okay, I'm going to pause this and try to figure out what's wrong. Okay, I figured out what the problem was. I'll explain that to you guys in a second, but I just want to show you that it works now. If I could, play this game right. Now, the computer sucks, so of course it's going to miss the ball like a moron. Okay, it bounces off the player right. And let's see here. Yeah, he moves kind of slow. I might speed him up even more. And he bounces off the computer now. Okay, I'll show you what I did wrong. Over in computer, you know how we copy and pasted everything from player? Well, player forget X, just return 35, and I never changed that. So it was, whenever the ball asked the computer what its X value was, it would always say 35, and that wasn't true because that's where the player is. So I just changed that to what we picked here for where we drew it. It's the same thing pretty much. I just added that -7 in there for that offset for our window. Remember that 407 here for our offset? I just subtracted that too. So now it's right centered, and I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to, how fast is our ball going actually? Let's take a look at that. -4. We'll say -3. I don't want to go any higher than that though. Okay, compile that. If you guys ever need to pause these videos, I won't be offended. In fact, I'm not even really there anymore, so move this over a little bit more. There we go, that's a little better. Of course, it got stuck behind him. Come at me, bro. Oh, yeah. And he'll bounce it back. Awesome. And you might have noticed, too, when it collides with the computer, it doesn't turn around until it's, like, actually inside him, not touching him. And that's because, remember, we're checking the top left versus the top left. So it has to wait till the top left of the ball comes in contact with the front of the paddle over here. So we have to wait till it's like inside the computer. In our next game, we're going to correct that a little bit, make that a little bit easier to work with. But for now, Look at this. Pong. Amazing. This is just awesome. Computer still sucks, but what do you want, a pro? You're not going to be using this as a Pong simulator for your national tournaments. Okay, so I think what we're going to do next time is we're going to add scoring and maybe pretty up the playing field a little bit. But for now, our game actually has full gameplay now. Um, so, if you guys have questions, leave it in the comment section below. I'll be more than happy to try and help you out. But I'll see you next time.